welcome once again to Grandis Espresso Lounge. So, this is Jody, your host, and for tonight, we'll be having one special and very important guest from one of our partners, which I will introduce to you later on. So, let's wait for the others to join our live session. So once again, this is Granda's Espresso Lounge, your virtual coffee table, a place where we catch up with our nurses, PTs, and OTs. Here we believe that hashtag no American dream is impossible. So I guess without further ado, and while we're waiting for the others to join, let me call on our guest for tonight. Let's call on Izzy. Hi, Izzy.
Hi everybody.
Yes, welcome to Grandis Espresso Lounge. It's such an honor to have you here for tonight and present you to our PTs who are soon to be in the United States, I hope. Yeah. So I
Yes.
guess before I start with our interview, Easy, can you give us a brief introduction about yourself?
My name is Izzy Pupko. I'm a physical therapist since 2005. I graduated from a college here in the US called Downstate, and I have been working in a skilled nursing facility, this exact one that I currently work in for the last 20 years. I pride myself that my job is something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy the community I work with and my fellow workers. We have a beautiful, wonderful team, and I actually enjoy my days. I don't look at the clock to see when my day is going to be over, which is, a big gift that I chose a profession that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Um, I want to congratulate whoever's watching this if they just recently graduated or they're in their process of graduating. You picked a profession where you're able to help people. And most people that I have found that are in this community of physical therapists, occupational therapists, nurses, and speech therapists usually have certain personality traits of enjoying helping people, liking to help people. And it's a great opportunity to do that throughout your career and also make money, which is obviously
Definitely.
which is obviously important as well. So that's a little bit about me.
I'm curious, Easy, because you mentioned that you've been staying on the same facility for 20 years already.
Yes,
So when you started to 2005. And yeah, can you introduce to us the facility and what kind of patients you serve there?
sure. Yes. So this facility, the name of the facility is called Boro Park Center.
Mhm.
Here in the U.S., it's categorized under a skilled nursing facility, otherwise known as a nursing home. In a typical nursing home, there will be, the typical size for a nursing home is about 100 beds. Sometimes it goes up to 200 beds. What's unique about Borough Park Center, it's a 504 bed facility. So it's really, really big. A lot of patients are here.
Mhm.
Um, there are two types of patients that you would find in the nursing home in the subacute rehab. One is categorized under what we call a short-term rehab, and one is categorized under a long-term patient. And that terminology is used for sort of the intention of the patient when they come here. When the patient comes here, is their intention to go home, to get better and to go home, or do they want to choose this place as their residence for their life? What a short-term patient looks like is their stay here would be anywhere from 1 week to up to 3 months. One second. I'm sorry about that.
Sure.
Anywhere from 1 week to about 3 months, depending on what they came for, what their prior level of function is, and how fast we can get them better and back on their feet. That's the short definition of a short-term patient. And a long-term patient typically can be here for a year, multiple years, or their whole life. And that can be for a bunch of different reasons. One is patient choice. Another is the patient needs help with a lot of the things that they do, and they don't have a home environment to support such a lifestyle. They don't have family or healthcare support in the home. Sometimes there's medical complications, and for other reasons as well. That would be categorized as a long-term patient. Um, the average facility most of their population is going to be long-term care residents, with a small portion of short-term care residents. In this facility, we have a extra percentage of short-term residents. We have a lot of short-term residents. Currently, we probably have about 40% of our patient population here out of the 504 beds are short-term residents. And the reason for noting this is the short-term patients are we give therapy to long-term patients as well, but the short-term patients are the ones that we really get involved with the therapy to the level of that when we get a patient who comes in who might have experienced a stroke and is in a very debilitated state and they need help with everything they do, and through a few months of therapy they improve to the point where they can take care of themselves in the home environment and they actually walk out the front door. As a therapist, there's no greater feeling than being a part of that patient's story and being providing the care in that patient's journey, and the smile and the gratitude that one can feel is just exceptional. So we pride ourselves by getting very involved with those short-term patients and getting them better. And that doesn't mean to say that we don't help with the long-term patients as well. We also have some of those on therapy program because if we can improve their lifestyle, be it that they're only capable of walking now shorter distances than typical, we'll try to help them get better to get there.
Yeah,
So
thank you for that. Sorry,
sure,
Izzy.
sure. No, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction about Boro Park. I can feel the passion there when you talked about Boro Park and the type of patients that you handle in terms of the short term and then the long term. So I can really guess that this is an amazing facility in the United States. But I would like to ask, what do you think makes Boro Park a great place for US trained or US educated for those foreign educated therapists like those that are deployed by Grandison. So what makes Boro Park great for them?
Okay, so we've partnered with Grandison for a long time, in placing therapists here, new grads in the United States. And I can tell you a few unique factors of Boro Park Center that might be exciting for a new grad from the Philippines.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Um, First of all, like I mentioned, it's a large facility. Secondly, we have a very strong therapy mentality here. Another aspect, our rehab department, we're at about 60 full-time therapists. That
Wow, that's a
includes,
yeah.
yes, so that includes PTs, PTAs, OTs, CODAs, and SLPs, speech therapists. And what that offers a new grad is a great opportunity to learn from a lot of people. The outpatient therapy world, you're typically in an outpatient office with maybe one or two, exposed to one or two other therapists. Um, the hospital environment offers very little interaction with the actual patient. It's very limited therapy, maybe one, two, three times a week for 15 minutes. And the turnover is very high. Here, you have an opportunity to work with the same patient for weeks or even months in an environment that's very supportive of education and learning from other therapists' experiences. Um, so that's another very unique factor, and I love it when new grads come here because they come with a brand new excitement of making a difference, and put that together with experienced therapists that may not be as excited because they've been doing the same thing for 10, 15 years. It's just a great dynamic. It's such a the mutual gains is tremendous, and as a new grad, there's so many different people to speak to. Another amazing thing is the rehab department here is multicultural. Just in our rehab staff, we have about close to 30 different languages spoken, which is extraordinary. It's really special. There's so much different culture and dynamic and languages that go on, and there's a tremendous unity in the sense of the family way of providing the care. We have a very large gym here on the first floor that everyone works together, and that's just really exciting. Like, and the rehab family, we do things also out of the office together. You know, in 2 weeks we have a 5K run that we're doing together, and then we're going out for food all together, which creates a great camaraderie, a great team effort. Just a little bit more, a couple of unique factors about this facility that are exciting is that we're coupled with a few local hospitals, Maimonides, Mount Sinai, NYU, in which we sort of have a very strong relationship with them. So when we get the patients from those hospitals, we have continued, like once a week, we meet with them with their patients and update them. And we have this dynamic of continuity of care with the hospitals. We also have a lot of doctors on unit. Like the average nursing home might have one doctor either in the facility or on call. Our facility prides ourselves that each unit has its own doctor that's on in the facility all day, every day, very welcoming and encouraging doctors. They want to hear feedback. If there's any questions or things that need to be followed up, it's immediate. There's no need to wait a day, 2 days. We expedite patient care as well. I
I
I go, yeah.
think I've heard from Alisa before that she was actually deployed in Boro Park because she was the
Yes,
first
yes,
PD that we were able to deploy in 2013. And I also heard that Boro Park is one of the largest skilled nursing facilities of centers, healthcare.
yes.
So I'm
And
guessing
in the
that's
country. And in the
oh, in the
country.
country. Oh,
Yes.
okay. PT's note, not just in New York, but also in the country. So I
Yes.
guess it will really be a fulfilling experience if ever they get the chance to be deployed in Borough Park.
Yes.
And I do remember we also have Noel De Leon, one of our PTs before,
Yes.
also
Yes.
used to work in Borough Park. I guess he finished his contract last year. I was also the one who
Yes.
did his interview in Ganason's Espresso Lounge. And when you mentioned the gym, I do remember him telling me that there's actually a basketball area, I think near the
Yes.
facility.
Yes. Yes.
So during his break time, he will just go there sometimes to play
Yes.
to play
Yes.
basketball. So
Yes.
yes, the way you described it, it really says a lot about the culture of Borough Park, right? And with that, thank you, Easy. So we'd like to dive more as well, since a lot of our PTs are watching right now. And I'm sure they are very curious in terms of how does a usual day goes for the PTs there in the United States. I know you've touched a
Sure.
little bit of it earlier when you talked about the short term and the long term patients, but yeah, let's talk about more how does a usual day
Sure.
go by for the PTs. Yeah.
Sure. So the average day would go by. Therapists will come in the morning anytime. We're pretty flexible with timing because, again, most all the patients are in house. They sleep here. So some therapists choose to come in earlier and finish their day earlier. Some therapists like starting the day a little later and finishing their day a little later. We're pretty flexible with that, which is a great thing as well. They would come in, they would have a caseload that they're pretty much familiar with because the caseload that that the therapist will have will be the patients that they saw the previous day and the previous day. There's very little changes from day to day outside of admissions and discharges. So if a patient had an anticipated discharge for today, that patient would not be seen today because they're going home, and there may be an evaluation or two evaluations on the PT schedule to do to get a new patient. Um, the timing, we pretty much have an open gym. So the times are dictated by the therapists themselves. They make their own schedule. Like we would provide a list of the patients to be seen that day, but the therapist on their own would sort of figure out what patients want to be seen when and sort of figure out their day schedule, accommodating the other patients that they have on their schedule. Some patients like coming down in the afternoon, some patients like coming down in the morning. Or if a patient has a visitor, we can easily accommodate that. And a typical day is 7 to 8 hours in which they would be anywhere from 10 to 14 patients to be seen, depending again on evaluations and other needs. Um, and there's a general gym here that Everyone utilizes together. This it's quite a large gym, so everyone finds their own spaces to use. We do have some very exciting equipment, and just to give you a quick rundown of our gym, we have an area that we in the front of the gym that is for extra exercise because a lot of times we feel like patients get their therapy with their therapist, but they want to do more exercise, but that can be very demanding on a therapist. So we have some rehab aids to help with that in one area of the gym. We have a mat room, so anyone who wants to participate in like bed exercises or mat exercises, we have 4 mats in that room that is readily accessible. We also have some cool equipment. We have a balance machine that gives feedback, very detailed feedback, and has a game to follow. So you can have a patient standing up on this board, and they might be in a ski slope, or they might be in a maze trying to figure out, which is really exciting. We also have something called a light gate. I don't know if you guys are familiar with, but it's pretty much a harness system that holds the patient up. um, Figure like as if you're rock climbing. You put on this harness on your waist, and it holds the person up from the top. And this way, the therapist, instead of having to hoist the patient up and hold them up, the machine holds it up, and now they're capable. The therapist can help facilitate that patient walking, be it an involved stroke where maybe it's a little too difficult to hold the patient up, or if you want to focus on that gait cycle.
Yeah.
That's
So I
some of the
guess that
fun
will
stuff we
make
have.
it easier for them because I
Yes,
haven't seen one of the machine that you mentioned, but
yes.
I did
It's like a
experience using
$70,000 machine. It's an expensive
all.
machine. Yeah.
Yeah. So given all the cool equipments that you mentioned, the staffs that you have, are there still challenges that Boro might be facing in terms of PT care or PT manpower? And how is Grandison able to like help you with anything? If there's any, if there's none,
That's a
that
gr-
will be fine.
no, that's a great question. That's a great question. So first of all, when we're dealing with such a large amount of patients that are getting therapy, caseloads fluctuate a lot. So, in one day, if we have 10 scheduled discharges, um, and we don't have that exact amount of patients coming in that exact day, um, the caseloads might get a little lighter. But the opposite is true too. A lot of times we have increase in caseloads, and which creates the need to have extra hands on deck. And we've partnered with Grandison for part-time, for full-time therapists to help us with that, as well as nursing. Especially in the United States, extra helping hands in the nursing department is always welcome and always beneficial. Um, another thing that we pride ourselves is just that education journey. We currently in I'll just isolate the speech therapy department. We are booked for the year of 2025 for students to come shadow the speech therapists that we have here. The schools are eager to place here because it's a excellent opportunity for people to learn. Um, so Grandison has definitely helped us a lot with staffing over the years. We've had many, many successful cases in which therapists have worked here for their whole stint of 5 years. We have had some therapists even stay past the 5 years because of just the atmosphere that it is here.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity. And Grandison has always stepped up with that. We've also assisted with Grandison in placement. So sometimes a Grandison therapist might come to Boro Park Center for training purposes. They would get the experiences of Boro Park, and then we would hand them off to a different facility to work one of our sister facilities because this facility is owned by a company called Centers for Care that they own 50 plus nursing homes. So there's a lot of different locations. So especially somebody coming new to the United States that wants to experience different places and whatnot, um, would also give that opportunity.
Yeah. I initially thought that there's like 200 locations for Centers Healthcare. So it's 50. Did I hear it
It's
correctly? 50.
the skilled nursing facilities, I believe, is 53 right now. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that information, Easy. And I'm glad to hear that Grandison is able to help you in terms of the manpower needs, not just for PTs but as well for the nursing. So I do have a question here from one of our PTs, Easy. So um I'll just read it for you. So what can the PTs expect upon their arrival at your facility? So is there any kind of orientation or mentorship that you provide
Yes.
for the new PTs within their first few weeks? Yeah.
Yes, that's a great question as well. So typically we would match up a Grandison therapist with one of either our Grandison therapists that are here on staff. So this way they can communicate, and there's certain understanding because a lot more goes into a Grandison therapist than, they're new to the location, they're new to the environment. So to acclimate them. If that's not available, we would match them up with a different alternate therapist, and that therapist will hold their hand in the process of becoming acclimated with the facility, with the job, with the patients, with the paperwork, the documentation, which is also really important and whatnot. So. The first few days that a therapist is working here, they typically won't be doing any work. They will be shadowing. They will observe. They will learn names, they will learn units, they will learn the system and the ropes. Slowly, we'll build up their caseload once they become acclimated, give them a few patients, something that's not stressful, not too overwhelming, that they can really get a grip and feel themselves grounded and feel confident in what they're doing. With again, they'll have that mentor always readily on hand for any type of assistance or guidance that they need with treatments, evaluations, discharges, paperwork, etc. And as that process continues, they will build up their own caseload over a given amount of time as they feel comfortable. I would say typically that process takes anywhere from 1 to 2.5 weeks, um, depending obviously on the person and how comfortable they are with what they're doing.
Yeah, and I guess let's encourage here the PTs that within the training period, I guess, or the shadowing period, I think it will really best for you PTs to like speak up or ask questions if there's anything that
Yes,
you don't
yes,
understand, right?
yes,
So that Easy and also the other mentors that you'll be having in Boro Park, they can help you succeed in the United States, right?
yes. And that's a really important point, because besides the mentor that they have,
Mm-hmm.
staff members here are it's very usual here to have new staff members, and in this training. And we have a lot of students that come in, and it's very usual and comfortable. It's a very friendly atmosphere to ask questions, even if it's not your mentor. I have therapists constantly asking me for my insight or advice on something, even seasoned therapists that have been working for 10 years and have a very unique case or circumstance. They may present me and say, listen, I have this case, what do you think of it? And that goes like it's open forum, so it's really for a new grad, it's really a great opportunity.
Yeah. And Easy, so based on your observation, because you've been there for 20 years, I guess there's like 8 or 10 more Grandison PTs who have been deployed to Borough Park and maybe have been trained by you or have worked with you.
Yes.
There's Noel, Alisa, I think JV, there's a lot. I can't name.
Paulo.
Yeah, Paolo as well there in
Yeah.
Borough Park, right? So based on your observation, Easy. So for the Grandison PTs, that you've worked with there in Borough Park, what aspect of the PT job, do they usually have a hard time adjusting to, and what advice can you give them to help them like prepare while they're here in the Philippines? Yeah.
um I've always admired
Mm-hmm.
the idea of somebody going to a completely new country, a new language, a new culture, um to go and learn. That is something I've never experienced in my life. And I've always humbled myself to people who have that experience, because it's really extraordinary. The opportunities, is really extraordinary. Um, what I would tell, the advice I would give. So my point is, it's hard for me to give advice specifically because I have not experienced it. But the people that I've worked with that have done it um, have acclimated very well, adjusted very well. um, they fit in this department. They're a critical component of this department. Alyssa is still actively a part of our department in a tremendous way, and this is after many, many, many years being here. She helps train in people I know now as well. A lot of people have done this journey and very successfully. Um, in my experience, I have not seen and I have not seen anyone that was not successful in this journey coming from Grandison. Um, th- I find that a lot of people that are coming from Grandison are hard workers. They come with that mentality of working hard, and that's a great asset to the work environment here. And I would say the one thing that you should pack in your luggage to bring here to the United States is one word, and this is the word that I preach a lot in the rehab department: is care. Care, care, care. You spend 3 years in education or 5 years in education and training and understanding the human body and understanding how to help people, and a lot of different techniques and modalities. The most important critical component that you're going to bring to the table is care. When a patient feels cared for, they get better. Skills can be taught, education could be taught. Care, when somebody cares, it goes the longest way in healthcare. So I have found, I don't want to sound so prejudiced, but a lot of the therapists that come in from the Philippines come with care, compassion, and a real excitement to make a difference. And they do. They come here, they make a difference, and the success stories. There's so many success stories that both on the therapist side and on the patient side, and it's a great opportunity to explore a new country and ultimately settle here.
Yeah, thank you for that, Izzy. That's very well said. And it's really great to hear that from one of our partners, like you, Izzy, from Boro Park and Centers Healthcare. Because it doesn't usually happen here in Grandis Espresso Lounge. We don't usually have our regular guest of facilities. It just happens once in a while, once in a quarter maybe, or sometimes twice in a year, right? So it's really a big thing to hear that big advice from you. No? So I hope the PTs there are listening. I really agree to everything that you said, Easy. And I hope that our PTs here will also put that into their hearts and put it in their luggage, like what you said.
Yeah.
Right? So, Easy, we're also curious about another thing. So are there any opportunities of continuing education or professional development trainings while working at Borough Park Rehab? Because you mentioned earlier, like there's an upcoming training for the SLPs. So how about for PTs? Is it the same thing? Is there any trainings or advancements for
Yes.
PTs?
Yeah, sure. So the SLPs are students. So we have 5 full-time speech therapists here, and each one of them can do internship to teach a student. So we have a bunch of universities that beg us to send their students to us because uh, of the uniqueness of Boro Park Center. Um, Ultimately, many Grandison therapists that are here have had students themselves as well, and we would match them up with a student to teach what they have learned here, and sort of offer that same opportunity that was given to them to the next generation of therapists. We do have monthly meetings with updates of different changes or things that have to be done a little bit differently, um, but be it documentation or different items in the rehab department. Um, the company also offers staff to take furthering education in taking some coursework. And part of the prerequisite for that is once one of the therapists go and get that training, that they teach it to the rest of the staff. So periodically, we'll have a therapist educate us with something that they learned in one of their classes. Like I was mentioning, we do have some unique equipment. We actually just got this new, what's it called? These light up things where you have to hit them. They become color coordinated and it can be used. It's used primarily in a gym, but we use it here in Boro Park Center as well. And in that, we had very exciting trainings and marketing videos. You can check it out on Instagram. But yeah, we're constantly on our toes to learn something new, to do something new, etc.
Yeah, thank you for that, Easy. And also, I want to note for the PTs who's listening right now, because we're just interviewing Easy on the perspective of Borough Park, right?
Yes.
Don't expect, or, no, don't expect too much. It's not the right word, but it will. I think that the experience will be really different to each of the rehab centers, depending on where
Yes.
they would go. But it's really, really a big help for us learning these things and hearing some of the machines that you have in there in the United States. I bet some of those I haven't even seen
Yeah.
here in the Philippines, right? So, I guess one of the most exciting questions that I have here, Easy, is that for those PTs, if they get assigned to Borough Park or maybe at some other sister companies like what you mentioned earlier, is there any chance for promotion or probably being absorbed by your facility after the PTs finish their contract with Grandison?
So some, if the Grandison therapist who's worked here for 5 years wants to continue working here, we partner with Grandison and we've tried to figure something out that they can continue working here and be a direct hire on board with our team. We do treat Grandison therapists the same as staff members. They're not treated any different. The fact that they're through an agency and not directly hired through this company does not influence or change anything in the sense of how the therapist is treated, be it for a vacation, or anything else that goes on in the department. Um, the therapy world specifically, being a physical therapist is pretty much that's the category that we do. There's not much promotion in specifically in the physical therapy world. You've already promoted yourselves to being physical therapy graduates, which is absolutely fantastic and it's a great accomplishment. But similar to a doctor, when somebody becomes a doctor, they're a doctor, and that's pretty much what it is. The only things that there are in improvements is this education aspect that we spoke about, sort of the supervisor role, that aspect of it. And again, the Grandison therapists have a very unique niche here in the United States, and the fact that there's multilingual, and that transition, is a great opportunity after the 5 year stint to go to outpatient, to open an own clinic, to doing other exciting things that maybe the therapist has an interest in. Um, and the one other thing I wanted to mention was I forgot what it was. Okay, continue for now.
Okay, hope you remember it later on, Easy. But I guess that sounds like an exciting journey for our PTs. So there are a lot of options or possibilities for them, like you mentioned, being direct hire or some arrangement with Grandison, or maybe after finishing their contract, opening their own clinic in the United States is also possible, or doing outpatients, right?
Sure.
So I guess actually that's all. Most of the questions that I have. I only have one remaining question for you, Easy. So I hope you do remember that stuff that you mentioned earlier.
Sure.
Yeah, but technically, I guess we've learned a lot of things from you, including what Borough Park is, the type of skilled nursing facilities from short term to long term, patients, and then what a typical day looks like for the PT. So I guess before we let you go today, Easy, and return you to the PT team there or the therapy team there, I'd like to hear from you, or we'd like to hear from you, Easy. Do you have any message to the students that we have right now or the PTs that are watching right now who are aspiring RPTs? Um, Maybe any message or advice that you can give them on how or why they should choose United States or why they should pursue their dream to be in the United States?
Okay, great question. I do remember what I wanted to say before.
Great.
Um, I happen to be a little bit biased because I've worked here in Boro Park Center, and I love working here. But on the other hand, I've never had the opportunity to work in different facilities. I've observed other facilities, but I have not worked in other facilities. So I happen to be biased on Boro Park Center, but a smaller facility offers other unique, great qualities. If the rehab staff is just five therapists, there's a certain connection with those five therapists that is way more valuable than a way bigger department. So smaller facilities are also really exciting in different ways and can give opportunity to be in different places as well. So although I'm really excited about Boro Park Center, other facilities have amazing, amazing qualities as well. That's what I forgot to mention.
Agree. Agree with that.
A
But
closing
don't worry
message.
about the bias. It's your spotlight today. Today is
Right,
Boro Park's spotlight here in Grandison's Espresso Lounge.
right,
Yeah.
right. Um, as individuals, we have a lot of details about us. Where somebody might be a dad, a brother, a sister, an aunt, an uncle. Um, we live in different neighborhoods. We have different hobbies. We might own a cat or a dog, or we might like playing soccer, or how you call it, football, probably, um, or karaoke, or whatever it is. The United States offers a great opportunity to explore a new place that is very exciting, especially New York City. Obviously, you could be placed in multiple places that are exciting. Somebody who likes outdoors, and there's plenty of skilled nursing facilities in regions that there's plenty of outdoors and hiking and whatnot. But the United States offers a great opportunity to experience the New York City life, to experience all those things that are of interest, that create our personality, that create our character, um, in a really exciting way, um, as well as in the healthcare, the actual job of physical therapy, as well. So, um, I, I mean, if I had to go back in time, and I can go back to when I was a graduating therapist, I'm from New York, but I would definitely take an opportunity to go to a different country to explore and to learn and to see and help that develop who I am as a person, as an individual. So, I mean, if Grandison is a company that, from my experience, literally holds your hand through that process. They help with a place to stay and camaraderie with fellow colleagues and an excellent and a job placement. And they have everything set up, and they're so good at what they do that they make that transition and opportunity so easy. It's not even a burden. They literally spoon feed you the whole process and hold your hand in this way. And there's fellow Filipino therapists that have been through the process that will hold your hand, that can identify with some of the challenges that may come up and help support you through that journey. So I would strongly encourage that opportunity. And my last message would be, just reviewing what I said already. If you do choose this great opportunity and you do come, don't forget to pack in your luggage the care, because that goes the longest way. Just look at your smile, Jody. It's hard not to smile back when
Yeah.
somebody's smiling at you. It makes it so much more pleasant. And as therapists in this building, we have maybe 600 workers. As therapists, we get to spend the most amount of face-to-face time with the patients, which means we can ask them, what did you do when you were younger? Who was that visiting you yesterday? What things do you like doing? What are your hobbies? You get that opportunity to really build a relationship with the patient. So bring that care, pack it in one piece of luggage. You don't need the
Yes.
clothing. Clothing you can get in the United States.
Yeah, you can buy it there in the US. Just bring yourself and pack the care in your
Yes.
luggage. Yeah. And I think that's my major key takeaway for tonight's Grandes Espresso Lounge, Easy. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. We really
My
appreciate having
pleasure.
you
My
here
pleasure.
in Grandes Espresso Lounge.
And
And
best of luck to
hopefully,
everybody.
yeah, hopefully next time you can also interview one of the PTs there in Boro Park on our
Sure.
next Grandes Espresso Lounge. But once
Sure.
again, thank you so much, Easy. We've
My
learned a lot
pleasure.
from
Best
you.
of luck to everybody.
Yes, and thank you, PTs, for watching. See you on the next
Bye
Grandes
bye.